So we got a chance today to talk to Jonathan Taylor and hear what he had to say about the play. He also talked about facing a division rival and what are the challenges of that, what are the advantages of that kind of a thing. One thing you're going to hear is how good Jonathan Taylor is at answering his own question rather than the questions that he's being asked, which is something he should do. If you ever have to deal with the media and you get a question that you don't want to answer a different question. That's the way you do it. Jonathan Taylor does it at a pretty high level right here.
We just got to understand that, we still have some things in front of us and, we just can't play down to a certain level. We have to raise our standards. We got to play to a high standard because there's still a lot left out there.
Has anyone reached out to you since play happened on Sunday that's offered advice, encouragement, anything on that end that's particularly resonated with you?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, there are a ton of people.
How have you processed? How have we processed it since Sunday?
The same thing as any bad play on Sunday. You got to be able to move on to the next.
How long do you give yourself to feel anything like that? Is it just like, okay, when I leave the locker room, it's got to be done, or just realistically, does it linger a little bit longer?
Oh, of course, something like that will linger a little bit longer. Of course, you got to go through the film, and then that'll relive it, and then after that, you kind of got to take those corrections, and then move on to the next week.
Jonathan, with that being said, it wasn't just that play last week. How important is it for the team to flush everything that happened and not let it linger into this week? Because anything can happen on Sunday too.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, it's still things out there for us. There are some teams that for the past couple weeks have not had things to play for. So I think that's the biggest thing, the biggest message that we understand and that we're feeling right now is that there's still things out there for us. So we got to continue to go out there. We got to continue to play hard. We got to continue to go and try to win games.
Does that moment and just the way the game went down, does that maybe add fuel to you, like the next opportunity you get to, win a game or get to the playoffs? Like, do you think that'll make you stronger in the long run?
It definitely will. I'm not the type that gets motivated off of certain things. I feel like if you're not already motivated intrinsically to want to be the best player, to make big plays, I just think it's going to be tough this league is going to be tough for you if you're not just intrinsically motivated.
Does 1,000 yards mean a lot to you?
For sure. That's definitely tough to come by. That's like, you don't just get 1,000 yards in the National Football League.
When you went back and watched the play, was there any explanation that you kind of found of like why the ball fell out of your hands like that?
Oh yeah, for sure. Bad plays happen, and you got to make sure it's how you respond.
JT, how much do you? Obviously this moment is tough, but you want that pressure. You want to be in the NFL. You want all those things. So, what is it like to embrace all that comes with it? Because it's not going to always be, highs or lows.
Yeah, like you mentioned, that's what comes with it. If you ask for this, if this is what you work for, then you got to take the highs and the lows. And I talked to my dad, and one thing that I mentioned was that you can't answer the phone for a call that happened yesterday. You can only pick up the next time. So you got to be ready for that next opportunity. You got to make sure that you learn. Hey, I missed that call the last time, but I won't miss it again.
You mentioned it doesn't change your motivation, but is there any danger of pushing too hard, trying to make up for something, or you have to be sure now that you can, approach it like you would any other game?
And like you mentioned, sometimes, trying to do too much is the ultimate team sport. Sometimes all you have to do is do your job, do it at a high level. So if you're just not intrinsically motivated to do your job every single play at a high level and you need other external factors in order to fuel you, I just think it's going to be tough to play in this league. I think everyone here in this league are competitors, and they just want to be the best in their respective positions. Shoot, guys want to be the best in the entire league.
Where does your intrinsic motivation come from? And I guess how early on did you know, like, okay, this is what pushes me?
Definitely going into college, coming from a small school and then going to a very, very large school. Like I said, my high school was super small. We had like 300 kids. Shout out to Salem City. But it's just understanding that, no one can want it more than you. And if that's the case, if someone wants something more than you, then you'll always be a step behind because you don't have that fire, that fuel within you.
So that's Jonathan Taylor, and of course that's what you try to do. When you do something horrifically bad and you harm the prospects of your team and your franchise and your city to enjoy a football season and maybe a postseason, when you personally cause that to happen through an indifference to possessing the football, you know what? People are going to ask you about it. You're going to want to put it behind you. And it sounds like Jonathan Taylor is about midway through that process, although he doesn't say that exactly, does he?